Good morning and a very warm welcome to Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the top stories. JNU Students' Union leader sent to 14-day judicial custody. Finance Minister condemns attack on journalists at the Delhi court. Rahul Gandhi, Arvind Kejriwal to call on President today separately. Supreme Court asks to maintain status quo in Arunachal Pradesh hours after Union Cabinet recommends end to President's rule in the state. Haryana Chief Minister announces enhanced quota for reservation for economically backward classes in the state. This after agitation by Jats demanding quota under OBC category hit road and rail services. Blast near Turkish parliament and military headquarters in Ankara. 28 people killed, 61 injured. And China dismisses reports of militarization in disputed islands of South China Sea as hype. US expresses deep concern. Japan and Vietnam call actions unacceptable. Well, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi and senior party leaders will be meeting the President today over the JNU campus row. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, along with his cabinet colleagues, will also be meeting the President separately to discuss law and order situation after the JNU row and after the arrest of JNU student leader Kanhaiya Kumar. Now, arrested leader Kanhaiya Kumar has been sent to 14-day judicial custody. This after he was thrashed by a group of lawyers outside the Patiala House Court complex yesterday. Having been remanded to 14-day judicial custody, JNU Students' Union President Kanhaiya Kumar was shifted to Tihar jail late Wednesday. He has been kept in a separate cell amid high security alert inside the prison complex. Jail authorities have been instructed to keep a round-the-clock watch for the safety of the student leader who is facing sedition charges. Delhi Police Commissioner B.S. Bassi has been directed by the Supreme Court to take personal responsibility of Kanhaiya Kumar's safety after the Students' Union leader was badly beaten up once again by a group of unruly lawyers. A medical report confirmed Kanhaiya had abrasions on his nose and bruises on his toes. Several journalists were also manhandled by a section of lawyers at the Patiala House Court, much like what happened on Monday. Lawyer Vikram Singh Chauhan, who had led the assault on Monday, once again unleashed a brazen attack on media persons in open defiance of the Supreme Court order which had directed the Delhi police to ensure proper security at the court complex. The 5-member Supreme Court panel that was rushed to the Patiala House Court to ascertain the situation there was also not spared. Stones were pelted at their vehicles and abuses hurled at them. And just like on Monday, the Delhi police was blamed for being mute spectators to the violence outside the court premises. The police commissioner, however, defended the police action, saying they did not use force as it could turn counterproductive.
Our tactic was that we should not use force because use of force in a court complex can always prove counterproductive. And we have managed the situation. The accused was produced before the court, notwithstanding a lot of crowd at the gate. We waded through the crowd. There was jostling, and despite jostling, this has been done. And I think, you see, now next time when he will be produced, we'll use some other tactics.
Opposition parties came down heavily on the centre and the Delhi police for not following the Supreme Court's order. The left parties even called for immediate removal of the Delhi Police Commissioner.
बसी को कोई अधिकार नहीं है पुलिस कमिश्नर रहने के। कोई दिल्ली के नागरिक ऐसे पुलिस कमिश्नर पर भरोसा नहीं कर सकता है जो अपराधियों का समर्थन करे और पेट्रोनाइज करे, उसको तुरंत हटाना चाहिए।
Meanwhile, more and more support is pouring in for the JNU leader, with eminent scientists and writers from across the world, including renowned thinker Noam Chomsky and Nobel laureate Orhan Pamuk, joining the chorus against his arrest. The Amnesty International too has called on the Delhi police to drop sedition charges against Kanhaiya Kumar. In a surprise move, 3 office bearers of the ABVP in JNU resigned on Wednesday, citing difference of opinion on the way the crisis was handled. Refusing to be the mouthpiece of the centre, they criticized the oppression on the student community. Meanwhile, protests continue inside the JNU campus. Academic activities have virtually been brought to a standstill. Varsity teachers are now conducting classes on nationalism inside the campus. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has come out in support of media persons who were attacked at the Patiala House Court yesterday, saying they had a right to report. In a tweet, Jaitley said that media has an unhindered right to report, adding that the attack on media persons was highly improper and condemnable. Meanwhile, the Home Ministry has sought a report on the incident from the Delhi police. A group of alleged lawyers assaulted journalists and JNU student leader Kanhaiya Kumar as he was being produced at the Patiala House Court on Wednesday. The Home Ministry has assured that action against the culprits would be taken as per law. On Monday, too, journalists and students and teachers of JNU were attacked by people wearing lawyers' black robes. And the Human Resource Development Ministry has convened a meeting of Vice-Chancellors of all central universities today to discuss ways to end discrimination against disadvantaged sections. This meeting comes in the backdrop of the Rohit Vemula suicide case and ahead of the budget session, where the opposition is preparing to corner the government on this issue. The Vice-Chancellors and heads of 46 central universities are expected to attend the meeting. Opposition parties have repeatedly raised questions over the role of Union Minister Bandaru Dattatreya and also attacked HRD Minister Smriti Irani over the incidents related to Vemula's suicide. Earlier, after protests over the Vemula suicide incident at Hyderabad Central University, the HRD Ministry had said that a program will be launched for sensitizing academic administrators about understanding and handling problems faced by socially, educationally and economically disadvantaged students. The ministry had also said that all VCs and senior administrators would be sensitized to reach out to such students. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a farmers' rally in Madhya Pradesh today. He will release operational guidelines of the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana in the Sehor district during the Kisan Kalyan Mela. The Prime Minister will highlight the government's initiatives for the development of the agricultural sector and welfare of the agriculturists, including the recently announced crop insurance scheme. On the occasion, the Prime Minister will also distribute soil health cards and compensation to 3 farmers each as a token. The scheme envisages a uniform premium of only 2% to be paid by farmers for Kharif crops and 1.5% for Rabi crops. The premium for annual commercial and horticultural crops will be 5%. There is no upper limit on government subsidy for this scheme. The provision of capping the premium rate, which existed in earlier schemes and resulted in low claims being paid to farmers, has been done away with. Farmers will get claims against the full sum insured without any reduction. The Supreme Court has ordered maintenance of status quo in Arunachal Pradesh. The top court said it needed time to examine judicial and assembly records on the 14 rebel Congress MLAs who were disqualified by former Speaker Nabam Rabia. The order on a petition filed by senior lawyers F.S. Nariman and Kapil Sibal, the centre on Wednesday recommended revocation of President's rule in the state a day after the Supreme Court refused to restrain the governor from swearing in a new government in the state. Rebel Congress leader Kalikho Pul has staked claim to form an alternate government on Tuesday. Kalikho, accompanied by 31 MLAs, which included 18 Congress rebels, 18 BJP and 2 independent MLAs, met the governor at the Raj Bhavan on Monday. However, before the Supreme Court decision, both Congress rebel MLAs and the BJP MLAs spoke about their plans to form the next government in Arunachal Pradesh.
हम कांग्रेस का लीडर है, हम कांग्रेस का एमएलए है और हम कांग्रेस का सरकार बनाएंगे, कांग्रेस का सरकार चलाएंगे। वो अनकंडीशनल सपोर्ट चला रहा है क्योंकि स्टेट को डेवलपमेंट चाहिए, करप्शन फ्री, ट्रांसपेरेंट और रिस्पॉन्सिव गवर्नमेंट चाहिए।
बीजेपी का स्टैंड वही है जो हम लोग कंपोजिट प्लॉटेज में कालीको पुल को मैंने लीडर ऑफ द हाउस सपोर्ट किया है, उस लाइन में अभी तक हम लोग है मेंटेन है।
हम बीजेपी वाले तो कभी नहीं कहा कि हम लोग सरकार बनाएंगे, आप मेरे पास आइए, आप ये कंडीशन लीजिए, तो मेरे पास तो कुछ है ही नहीं है। हमको जजमेंट करना है और बेहतर वे में गवर्नमेंट बनाना है और जनता का सेवा करना है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a meeting of the Union Cabinet on Wednesday. The meeting recommended revocation of President's rule in Arunachal Pradesh. It also approved building 6 railway lines and a railway bridge at a cost of 10,700 crore rupees.
The Union Cabinet on Wednesday recommended an end to President's rule in Arunachal Pradesh. This comes a day after the Supreme Court refused to restrain the governor from swearing in a new government in the state.
Well, as far as Arunachal is concerned, there is some privilege exchange between the governor and the president, which we cannot disclose.
The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs also approved the construction of 6 railway lines and a railway bridge for 10,700 crore rupees.
कैबिनेट कमेटी ऑन इकोनॉमिक अफेयर्स ने डबलिंग और थर्ड लाइन जिस पे हमारी सबसे ज़्यादा प्राथमिकता है क्योंकि वहाँ बहुत जल्द नतीजा भी निकल आता है, कॉस्ट भी कम होती है और लोगों को राहत भी ज़्यादा मिलती है और रेलवे को आमदनी भी बढ़ती है. ऐसे 6 प्रोजेक्ट को आज मान्यता दी.
The Union Cabinet also approved notification of commitments under the Trade Facilitation Agreement of WTO. Agreement for collaborative activities in traditional medicine between the Ministry of Ayush and the World Health Organization. An all-India mega science proposal for research on gravitational waves. The Union Cabinet also approved amending the Delimitation Act 2002 and the Representation of Peoples Act 1950. This enables delimitation of assembly and parliamentary constituencies for those who came to India after the exchange of enclaves between India and Bangladesh. This is Vishal Dahiya's report for Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
And moving to Haryana now, where the agitation by the Jats demanding reservation under OBC category continues. On Wednesday, the agitation affected rail and road traffic in several parts of the state. This prompted Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar to announce enhancement of the quota of reservation for economically backward classes in the state from 10 to 20%. He also announced to enhance the annual income ceiling from 2,50,000 rupees to 6 lakh so that maximum people can get benefit under this category. During the day, the protests by the Jats spread from Rohtak, Jhajjar region to Sonipat, Bhiwani, Hisar, Fatehabad and Jind districts, with large number of women also joining the protests. While lawyers joined in the protests at Sonipat, a large number of students held a protest in Rohtak. The protesters are demanding reservation in government jobs and educational institutions under the OBC category.
60 ट्रेनें मेल एक्सप्रेस और पैसेंजर है जो बंद है, इससे यात्री काफ़ी परेशान है. उसके साथ ही लगभग 40 गाड़ियाँ मालगाड़ियाँ भी चलती हैं, वो भी बंद है ट्रैक के बंद होने के कारण.
रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसी हमने बनाई थी. कैसे? किसी को तो हमने छेड़ा नहीं. 27% बैकवर्ड क्लासेस का था रिजर्वेशन. वो बैकवर्ड क्लासेस में 27 में से भी 18% जो है वो उन बरादरियों का था जो जमीन के पास नहीं है.
The Congress party will hold a Dalit conclave in Lucknow today. Assembly polls are slated in Uttar Pradesh for next year. The event will be attended by Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi. Gandhi will be attending the concluding session of the conclave, which will deliberate on a number of issues concerning Dalits, including formulating a strategy to bring back the community into the party fold. The conclave will hold a discussion on Ambedkar's mission and Congress's vision for socio-economic empowerment of the Dalits. After attending the conclave, Gandhi will also meet the MLAs and MLCs of the party. Later, he will make a visit to his parliamentary constituency, Amethi. With that, time for a very short break here on Breakfast News. All the international news to follow. Do stay with us.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries. Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m.
Thanks for staying with us on Breakfast News. News from Jammu and Kashmir now. BJP General Secretary Ram Madhav met PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti yesterday to discuss government formation in the state. This was the first big move initiated to end the over-month-long impasse with regard to government formation. The meeting between the two leaders lasted for nearly 1 hour. The BJP leader, who was instrumental in firming up the coalition government under late PDP leader Mufti Muhammad Saeed last year, did not speak to the media, however, after the meeting and left for the airport to return to Delhi. This was the first formal meeting between senior BJP and PDP leaders over government formation in the state, which is under governor's rule since the 8th of January, a day after the sudden death of incumbent Chief Minister Mufti Muhammad Saeed. Now, Mehbooba, who's seen as the successor to her father as the Chief Minister, had recently spoken about, in fact, she had recently talked tough over government formation, demanding that BJP's government at the centre should take some confidence-building measures to address the core political and economic issues of the state within a set time frame. Moving on to some other news, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj will inaugurate the session for inter-ministerial dialogue at the 8th Delhi Dialogue today. The 3-day meet began on Wednesday and is being attended by leaders of the ASEAN countries. The event is discussing ways to boost the engagement between the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or the ASEAN, and India. The first day of the dialogue had discussions on ways to increase trade and other ways to deepen the ASEAN-India collaboration.
The 8th round of the Delhi Dialogue to enhance engagement between India and the ASEAN bloc started in Delhi on Wednesday. This year's theme is ASEAN-India Relations, a new paradigm. Addressing industry and business leaders, MEA Secretary said that enhancing trade was a priority area under the ASEAN-India partnership.
So far, India, Brunei Darussalam, Malaysia, Myanmar, Singapore, Vietnam and Thailand have ratified the agreements. Lao PDR has ratified the agreement on trade and services. So we request you to use your good offices to encourage the remaining ASEAN countries to ratify the agreement at an early date.
The Trade Negotiating Committee is reviewing ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement, which came into effect on 1st of January 2010 to help optimize its utilization and bring it up to date with today's standards. India is looking at enhanced trade with Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar and Vietnam, despite the fact that China has increased its dominance in the region. India is also looking to adjust to the new set of security and economic rules as increasing number of Southeast Asian countries recently joined the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or the TPP. Apart from economic affairs, the dialogue is expected to feature extensive discussions on cybersecurity, counter-terror and political coordination for multilateral platforms like the United Nations. With inputs from Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And senior IPS officer Rahul Kumar Verma has been appointed the next commissioner of Delhi Police. He will be succeeding incumbent B.S. Bassi, who will retire on the 29th of February. A 1979 batch Union Territory cadre officer, Verma is currently serving as DG of Tihar Prison and will serve as the top police officer of the national capital from the 1st of March for the next 17 months. Verma will take charge at a time when the Delhi Police is facing severe criticism for handling the JNU crisis. The 58-year-old will head the 80,000-strong Delhi Police, which is responsible for maintaining law and order in the national capital. Verma's first test is said to be appointing the anti-corruption branch chief, which may lead to another clash with the Aam Aadmi Party government in the city, which has its own list of probables for the post. And a look now at what expected to make news through the day. The BJP will launch a 3-day Jan Swabhiman Abhiyan, that is a campaign for people's self-pride today. Party leaders and workers will try to build up public opinion against the alleged anti-national activities at JNU and in support of action against those involved in it. Party workers will hold dharnas, run signature campaign, play patriotic songs and hold meetings besides other events. Former DU lecturer S.A.R. Gilani, who was arrested on sedition charges by the Delhi police, will be produced before the Patiala House Court today. He had been remanded to 2 days police custody, which ends today. Gilani is accused of organizing an event at the Press Club of India, wherein banners showing Afzal Guru and Maqbool Bhatt as martyrs were displayed and anti-national slogans were raised. The two-day Central Committee meeting of the CPIM in Delhi will conclude today. The party is expected to take a final call on joining hands with the Congress in West Bengal. Yesterday, the CPIM Politburo discussed assembly elections in 4 states and 1 union territory, and also the ongoing JNU rout. On to international news now. At least 28 people were killed and 61 injured in a huge explosion in Turkish capital Ankara today. The blast took place in an area nearby the Turkish parliament and military headquarters. Officials said a vehicle loaded with explosives was detonated as military buses were passing by. Ambulances and fire engines were rushed to the scene. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan expressed concerns over the blast. He said Turkey is more determined than ever to use its right to self-defense. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack yet. Meanwhile, in a separate incident on Wednesday, an explosion rocked a building housing a Turkish cultural center near the Swedish capital, Stockholm. No casualties were reported in the incident. It's also not clear yet if these two incidents were related. The police forces have launched a thorough investigation.
En ince detayına kadar bütün veriler, bütün bulgular titizlikle değerlendiriliyor. Bu saldırının henüz şu ana kadar saldırıyı kimin gerçekleştirdiğine dair bir bilgi elimizde yok ve böyle bir açıklama da yapılmadı.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has expressed serious concerns over Chinese militarization in the disputed islands of South China Sea. He said this in the wake of reports that Beijing has deployed surface-to-air missiles in the South China Sea. China, meanwhile, dismissed the reports as hype. More in this report.
President Xi was here in Washington. He stood in the Rose Garden with President Obama and said, China will not militarize in the South China Sea. But there is every evidence, every day, that there has been an increase of militarization of one kind or another.
Reports of Chinese militarization in the disputed islands of South China Sea has forced the US and other claimants in the region to hit the panic button. American and Taiwanese officials on Wednesday claimed that China has set up missile batteries on Woody Island. Each battery has 4 launchers and 2 control vehicles. The island is part of the China-controlled Paracels chain, but is also claimed by Taiwan and Vietnam. Japan and Vietnam called China's actions unacceptable.
西シナ海における大規模、そして急速な埋め立て、また拠点構築、その軍事目的の利用など一方的に現状を変更し、
China soon dismissed the reports as a hype. Beijing said their sea and air defenses have been in place in the disputed region for years. Meanwhile, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said non-militarization in the South China Sea needs joint efforts of the countries inside and outside the region.
中国在我们驻守的岛礁上所建设的有限的、必要的自卫的设施，这完全是根据国际法所给予任何一个主权国家的自保权和自卫权。
The White House meanwhile reiterated Obama's statement on Wednesday that it would continue to fly, sail and operate wherever international law allows. The US intervention in South China Sea has been a bone of contention between China and Washington for years.
The United States military has undertaken operations to indicate our view and to, I think in pretty stark terms, make clear our view that we intend to continue to fly, sail and operate anywhere that international law allows.
Mỹ đã bắt đầu quay lại châu Á và không những Mỹ, còn có Nga, còn Ấn Độ, còn Nhật Bản, còn nhiều nước khác ở trong Tây Âu nữa cũng đồng tình với để.
Rival countries Taiwan, China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia and Brunei have wrangled over territory in South China Sea for centuries. But the increasing tension in recent years is triggered by the boost in construction activities by China. With reports of missiles being deployed in the region, concerns are fueled over the area being militarized and turned into a global flashpoint. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Iraqi officials have confirmed that one of its army helicopters was shot down in west of Baghdad by Islamic State militants. All crew members are reported to be dead. The helicopter crashed in the Fuilhat area, 15 kilometers southeast of the Islamic State stronghold of Fallujah. The Islamic State also took to Twitter and claimed responsibility for the downing of the helicopter. The tragic incident comes a day after another army helicopter crashed in southern Iraq due to a technical fault, killing 9 people. And for some more international updates, here's a quick world wrap. Humanitarian aid has started reaching besieged areas of Syria after trucks filled with supplies left Damascus. The United Nations has urged warring parties to use aid delivery as a first step to a ceasefire. 8 trucks started entering 3 more besieged Syrian areas on Wednesday as part of UN-backed deal to deliver humanitarian assistance to 5 besieged areas. Venezuela has devalued its currency and raised fuel prices in an effort to stem a widening economic crisis. The measures are meant to help shore up the OPEC nation's finances, as plummeting oil prices and a collapsing state-led economic model have left the country with a severe recession. Despite the hike, the fuel in Venezuela will still remain the cheapest in the world. Pope Francis on Wednesday rallied against immigration policies, calling forced migration a human tragedy. The Pope concluded his 5-day Mexico visit with celebrations at an open-air mass on the US-Mexico border of Ciudad Juarez in front of hundreds of thousands of people. The Pope also visited a prison just days after 49 prisoners died in a fight between rival gang members at a jail in Monterrey. The Spanish police have arrested 5 directors of China's biggest bank, the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, as part of an investigation into alleged money laundering. The arrest took place as a part of Spanish police raid of the bank's headquarters in Madrid. The alleged fraud involves funds handled by a criminal group acting in Spain, which the Spanish Interior Ministry says passed through the bank and were transferred to China. And a look now at all the latest sports stories in sports. The Indian women's cricket team took an unassailable 2-0 lead in the 3-match ODI series against Sri Lanka with a 6-wicket win in the second match in Ranchi. Opting to bat first, Sri Lanka could manage only 178 for 9 wickets in the allotted 50 overs. Indian skipper Mithali Raj then remained unbeaten on 53 to guide her team home with as many as 41 balls to spare. In yet another milestone, Barcelona star Lionel Messi became the first player to score 300 goals in La Liga. The 28-year-old scored in the 3-1 win against Sporting Gijón in the first leg of the Champions League last 16. Messi has now scored 301 league goals in 334 appearances, taking his tally in all competitions for Barcelona to 437. Cristiano Ronaldo's 33rd goal of the season helped Real Madrid towards the Champions League quarter-finals with victory over Roma in the first leg of their last 16 tie. The Portugal forward and Jesse scored a goal each in the second half to hand Madrid a crucial 2-away goal advantage. Germany's World Cup winning captain and coach Franz Beckenbauer has been warned and fined by FIFA's Ethics Committee. Beckenbauer had been provisionally banned for failing to cooperate with FIFA's inquiry into the bidding processes for 2018 and 2022 World Cups won by Russia and Qatar, respectively. That's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.